We're turning our eyes now from Delhi, Mumbai down south. 2016 continues to be a buyer's market. There is a lot of unsold inventory across various cities in India. We're going to try and find out which one of them makes more sense for you. On the Urban Debate tonight, we keep our focus on the South Indian market. We ask you, is it time to look south? And if you're going to invest your money or buy a home, which is the best market to consider? Joining me tonight on the show, Pankaj Kapoor, Managing Director of Lysis 4S, Ashwinder Raj Singh, CEO, Residential Services GLL, who will join us in a little bit, Arun Kumar, Founder, Managing Director, Casa Grande in Chennai, who joins us from our Chennai studio, and G. Ram Reddy, he's the President, Credai Telangana developer, who joins us from Hyderabad. I want to thank the gentlemen for joining us on the show this evening. Pankaj, I'll start with you. Now, if we consider the South market, there are obviously these three big markets to consider. There's Hyderabad, Chennai and Bangalore. I'm going to set aside Pune for a bit. I'll throw that into the mix in a little while. But from where you're looking at it, which of these three markets do you see most potential in? Because we know there are a lot of people at home who are watching who've held on to their money so far looking for an opportunity. If you're going to get into the market and buy right now, do you believe it's Bangalore, Chennai or Hyderabad?
I would currently say that it's a Hyderabad, because if you look at that, Bangalore and Chennai is already peaked. So if you look at, they had their market surging from 2011 till probably 2014. So if you look at, most of these markets have peaked in terms of prices, and if you look at, there's kind of a time corrections or a bit of a new launches coming at a lower rate. So there's kind of a time correction and price correction zone. Sales velocity is also down in the Bangalore and Chennai market. So if you look at Hyderabad, otherwise it was going through a kind of a lull in terms of price growth, and only recently, since the growth in these two markets have slowed down, the private equity movement in the Hyderabad has improved. So you can see the new launches started moving in, and so as the prices also started showing kind of a growth. So my own sense is, if in today's market, any market which is showing a price productivity, it's a Hyderabad. And apart from that, if you look at the office absorption in Hyderabad also picked up. There are a couple of big farms which has really...
my question, Pankaj. That when we talked about the lull that we're facing in Hyderabad right now, what gives you so much confidence that the lull is over, that it's not going to slip any further from where it is?
I'm saying that if you look at a property close to Gachibowli or high-tech cities and these regions, and if you look at these properties trading in the 4,000 or 3,500 rupees range, and this property has been trading for last 4 years or 5 years. So if you look at from here, there's only an upside. So if you look at when Bangalore market, Pune market and Bangalore market were surging, there was no improvement and no growth in this particular market. So this is one market where it's kind of undervalued. This is a market where you have one of the best infrastructure.
So hang on, if I were to invest in Hyderabad at this point, would you say the IT sort of led areas, Gachibowli, high-tech city, Madhapur, or should I be looking at other options?
I think that's a market one should look for, because people buy on the basis of where they work. So those micro markets certainly going to really doing good in near future too.
All right. So just to bring our audience up to speed, the Gachibowli market, the Madhapur market are priced between 3,000 and 6,000 rupees a square foot, which is a great price right now. I will bring in Arun Kumar to sort of rebut that. Arun, Pankaj picking Hyderabad as the market of choice. Do you want to defend Chennai at this point?
Hey, I think he has a point here. Actually, there is a huge pent-up demand which has happened in Hyderabad because of whatever the the kind of a slowdown which had happened prior to that. Sure. But what's very important here to understand is, in perspective, is Hyderabad is yet to catch up. The heat is yet to happen, and the truth is, Chennai and the Bangalore markets are lot bigger in size. So given the circumstances actually of a lot more of a development and lot bigger the size, they would hold stead in the long term, and they all would fight, which is very healthy. The truth is, we are operating as a builder in all the three markets, and I do get a sense of it. But what's happened in these locations like Hyderabad, because of the primary FSI norms and whatever, which gives them a lot more option to go for higher floors, etc., and the bigger land parcels are available, I'm not seeing the prices surging too much. unlike a Bangalore or a Chennai, which also have huge parcels of land yet to be developed. But having said that, since there's a lot more of FAR regulations or FSA regulations, as what we call it, that puts the pressure in terms of the prices getting pushed up. So given the circumstances, I would think all the cities would do well. And yes, no doubt Hyderabad would be no doubt Hyderabad would be, yeah.
Wait, Hyderabad would be a good choice, but a choice over Chennai. So if someone's looking to make a buy, they should be looking at Hyderabad instead of Chennai?
I would say yes, but in about 10-12 months from here, possibly it could happen. But I've not really seen much happening at the moment in Hyderabad, because there's a huge supply overhang which is there in Hyderabad. In fact, I would say it's a lot higher in comparison to Chennai also.
So I would think at the moment, that. So we have Arun and Pankaj going forward against Hyderabad at this point. This is how we like to stack our debates. Arun, Pankaj, overhang in Hyderabad, there's no reason why all of that should be absorbed. And Arun's right. I mean, you have to absorb all of the overhang before you start to see an uptick. And I just want to explain this to our viewers. So what this basically means is there's already supply of homes in the market that hasn't been bought. So when the market starts to recover, all of those homes will have to be bought first, and then we'll start to see a price rise. So that's quite a long time away, Pankaj.
If you look at the size of the inventory, otherwise, like if you look at Hyderabad, is much lesser than Chennai. And Chennai, if you look at, there's a demand of plotted homes, smaller homes, smaller projects, as well as there's a certain township projects also. So if you compare all three together, the size of the inventory is very high. But in comparison to, there is also magnitude of sales is also much higher. But in apple to apple comparison, if I say that inventories overhang has been reducing, that's why I see that in Hyderabad this market is showing sign of the recovery. It was like because of the Telangana, because of the political uncertainties, things were not moving. Post Telangana clarities and all, now the things started moving.
How long will it take for things to actually start moving in Hyderabad?
I think it's kind of a thing like, it's an India story in the global economy sense. So people say that it's like, India is a, one-eye king. So as the situations of Hyderabad. So if you look at MMR, NCR, Pune, Hyderabad, Pune, Bangalore, and Chennai all have already peaked in terms of prices. They have already seen their surge. So if you look at last 1.5 years, the prices are almost really static. There's no growth. While Hyderabad, which was going through kind of a static price and there was no growth, has started showing sign of recovery. And the reason being the investment started moving in this reason.
So you're saying that Hyderabad was static for a really long time. It's now begun to come back. Arun Kumar, Chennai remains static. We're hearing very, very abysmal reports about the Chennai market, and I'll be honest, and these are my sources who tell me that developers in Chennai are desperate at this point. Sales are just not moving. The market is completely subdued. A lot of the local level corruption has led to asks that completely make construction in Chennai unviable, because the kind of bribes that are being paid on the ground just don't allow you to build at all. Respond to that. In a situation like that, and my sympathy goes out to you that you have to function in that market. How do you make a sale and how do you make a profit?
And I'm not really sure whether it's really as bad as what I've heard you to say. But having said that, I would give in to the fact that it has been a lot slower in the recent past, and it has been plaguing us for quite some time now. But I'm consistently seeing only one thing, okay? Let's understand what's happened. Let's understand it factually, okay? And put some perspectives to this. Let's identify the size of these three markets before I try to answer you. If Hyderabad is a size 1, in terms of real estate, Chennai is about a 2.5, and Bangalore is about a 4.5 to 5. That's how the real estate residential market has panned out. Having said that, from last year to this year, as my reports and my sources say, Chennai still held on to about a 90% of the last year's sales. So what's happened is a lot of cleanup of some sales of the supply overruns have happened even in Chennai. In fact, for that matter, actually, what we have given to understand is actually from the HDFC's reports also, that they have also disbursed about a 90 to 95% of what they have disbursed last year. So it's not as bad as what possibly it is. Yes, no doubt that the time is not so comfortable, conducive. The real estate home buyer has gone into a bit of a slumber, and possibly you need to wake him up to bring him to the market, etc. But it's not happening because now the prices are a lot more realistic in the market. Nobody is trying to, kind of ask for anything which is even, I mean, it's all come down to more realistic levels, maybe 10% lower than that. Maybe they are squeezing the margins out, trying to get the supplies out. So I guess all these things are good, and I think it will still continue to do well as a market. We are very neutral when talking this because.
No, fair enough. Let me bring in more voices. I want to bring in Ashwinder Raj Singh, who tracks these markets. He heads residential services for JLL. Ashwinder, the question we're asking today, in the South Indian market, if we look at Chennai, Hyderabad and Bangalore, and if you were to actually recommend which market you think is currently placed best to, to provide capital value growth to our viewers, so which means that I buy a home and it appreciates, would that be Chennai, Hyderabad or Bangalore?
I would go with Hyderabad as number one, Bangalore, as good as number 1 or 2, because there are certain micro markets in Bangalore also which have a tendency and might give good ROI, and followed by Chennai. So to be honest, Hyderabad right now is really picking up. I think, you asked a question, when is it going to pick up? I think it has already picked up. If you're choosing the right projects, the clients have become very smart. The moment they're getting a good deal, a good project in the location of the choice, they are not taking much time to take decision. Vis-a-vis a market like Chennai, where the clients have not had great experiences, and then the flood happened, then they saw many projects going underwater. Their entire decision making has undergone a catharsis. So what has happened is there are pockets in Chennai as well, but the buying cycle of the client has increased. That's why you see the heat. And if I look at Bangalore, I still feel North Bangalore is really, there are certain pockets which are doing very well. They will continue to do well. They did well in the last 5 years. They will do well in the next 5 years too, if you have that horizon, and a little bit of East Bangalore.
All right, so we'll come to specifics about which neighborhood in Bangalore. Ram Reddy is in a really good position in this debate right now because he has two independent voices sort of batting for Hyderabad. Ram Reddy, what's your response right now to the fact that Hyderabad is best placed? What kind of construction are developers like yourself focusing on in Hyderabad? What neighborhoods do you believe the most supply is going to come up in and the most capital value will be available in?
Yeah, thanks Pankaj and other consultant. You have given a very good report of Hyderabad. I mean, exactly what exactly is happening in Hyderabad, you have given a good analysis. Thanks to you. And exactly, I mean, mostly the western part of the city is most happening city in Hyderabad, like Gachibowli, Madhapur, Narsinghi, Kokapet, and Nanakramguda. All these places are really doing well, and most of the projects, most of the major launches have been happening. So Hyderabad is booming, as rightly pointed out by them. Several years there was no good market because of various reasons in Hyderabad. So I mean, it's already picked up, and it's in a really, we are very happy. All the developers are very happy in Hyderabad. So many big projects have been launched, and many developers from across the country, they are looking at Hyderabad. Already they have launched the projects. The market is really doing excellent in Hyderabad. So a lot of office space also being observed recently. Because of all the positive decisions taken by the government, ease of doing business is there. It's become the number one in doing ease of doing business. Hyderabad has become the number one, and even recent surveys is also most livable city in the whole country. Hyderabad has become the number one city. Even second time it has been done. I mean, so all these positives are there. Many people are coming towards Hyderabad. And major, recently Apple chief has come to Hyderabad, and Amazon is the biggest office is going to come up here. Like that, so many things are happening in Hyderabad. So, I mean, the government also is very positive because of TS IPAS, T-Hub, so many positive things are happening. Our Minister, Mr. KTR, has become a brand ambassador for Hyderabad, or Telangana state.
Okay, so I get your point. There's a fair amount of political push. Yeah. There's a fair amount of political push coming in from Hyderabad, and I want to just, recap to our viewers who've just joined us where we are right now. We're talking about the best South Indian city to invest in. Both of our independent voices said Hyderabad is likely to do best. We have Arun Kumar, who builds in Chennai, who's defending Chennai. Nobody here to talk about Bangalore, so I'll take that on as my job. I'll defend Bangalore here. My question then to Ashwinder Raj Singh and Pankaj Kapoor. Pankaj, I'll come to you first. The truth is, if we're going to say that the number of jobs created will have a direct link then to the amount of demand we will see for homes, and because we'll see demand for homes, if people want to rent, if people want to buy, that's actually when we'll see the market come up. Now the truth is really that Bangalore is still the strongest commercial space services market, and the most demand is still coming from Bangalore. So while you might see Hyderabad turn around, and my second rebut to you is this: we looked at the prices in Hyderabad. We're talking about 3,000 rupees to 6,000 rupees a square foot, and like Ashwinder pointed out, there are several pockets of Bangalore, Electronic City, places further down from Hindu. There are several pockets of Bangalore still available at those prices. So given that Bangalore is a far more mature market when it comes to property, why not Bangalore? Why Hyderabad?
You should also compare Mumbai to Bangalore. So why Mumbai fizzled out to Bangalore? The reason is the city's complexities, its inconveniences push the officers and available manpower resources to Bangalore, and that's why Bangalore flourished. But having said that, Bangalore has also become as inconvenient as Mumbai. Traveling has become very, very difficult in that particular city, and that is where Hyderabad, which is probably one of the most efficient city with a critical mass, with the economic base available, best of the infrastructure. So I think its time is arriving. So it's not by virtue of Bangalore having the size, right? It is also Bangalore is becoming inefficient. So because of that, now the transition is happening towards the Hyderabad side, and that's why you look at Amazon, Google, and several companies has
that
really
the
moved
people
in.
who live in Bangalore will be willing to move out?
I would not say that. It's
Because
not
it's
so
not just
easy.
about setting up an
It is
office,
not.
it's about getting people to move and live there and work
Yeah,
there.
so Bangalore in last one decade had seen 70% growth in the population. I don't see the next decade is going to be in the same manner. The growth will retard. But now what I see as the growth of the offices in the other geography will begin. So you will see the polarization will happen more on that side. So if you see the future outlook and future prospect and a polarization, in that sense I say Bangalore's inefficiency will augur good for cities like Hyderabad.
What is Chennai's commercial market demand right now for office space, especially in the services sector?
I think close to 4 to 5 millions per square square
What's
foot.
that like in comparison to Bangalore?
Bangalore maybe probably 10 million square feet through.
Okay. Ashwinder, if we compare it just apples to apples, commercial space to commercial space, where do you think Chennai stands right now in this contest?
See, as I said, Chennai is clearly the number 2 and it is not the number 3 because, starting from a point, Bangalore is a far more sustainable market and Hyderabad has come up because of the pent-up demand which was always there, but people were not taking decisions. So there is a little bit of inorganic nature kind of playing in Hyderabad and which is giving it the flip. So Chennai is number 2. There are, Chennai is a far bigger market than Hyderabad. There are a lot of stuff that is happening in and around Chennai also, and you rightly pointed out there are some, other issues which are kind of bringing down Chennai and bothering the client to take the decision to buy and impacting the developer with the increasing cost. So Chennai remains number 2. If you look at the return on investments, I think there are, broadly if I look at Chennai in the next 3 to 5 years should give a return on investment of around 10% on the residential side. However, I see pockets in Bangalore and Hyderabad around 20, but 18 to 20, and there are certain pockets in Bangalore which might even go up to 30% in the next 3 to 5 years. So Bangalore is as competitive as Hyderabad. And just on the commercial space that you spoke about, Bangalore today is the number 1 commercial commercial space absorption city in Asia, not just in India. So the kind of activity that is happening on the commercial side in Bangalore is far more than any other city, not only in India but across Asia.
All right, so commercial activity there in Bangalore. Arun Kumar, I'm going to come back to you here. We're hearing several things about Chennai, and I think one of the things to really focus on right now is the kind of attention that should come in from the state government in Chennai to sort of developing industry, making it attractive, an easy place to do business, so that when the Googles and the Facebooks and the Microsofts decide to put in offices, that Chennai is part of that consideration. And I think somehow, on some level, the city is losing out. Is there an appeal that you would like to make as a representative of the builder community to the state government?
State government, I mean, the new government is formed in now. We've had a lot of assurances from them in terms of the commitment to newer investments which would happen. In fact, the last term has just been okay, and everybody understands that. But now for sure, actually, the government has taken a clear cognizance that they are losing out. The minister has spoken openly that actually they would pitch in a lot more, stronger for that. See, if the government gets a little proactive, there is very less of a chance that we would really lose out. Because actually Chennai has a lot more going for it in terms of a very, very well qualified professional, talent pool which is available in comparison to even market like Hyderabad. I would not, obviously, Bangalore is way ahead and we'll have to accept to the reality, because we are, as I told you already, we are operating both the markets and we do understand the dynamics. But Chennai obviously has a very good talent pool, and the whole city also has a lot of conduciveness in terms of safety of the city and so on. A lot of things go well for that. So if the government starts pitching in, it can turn things around in about a year or a couple of years. It can happen. The minute that bit of a confidence is set in, and Chennai would be again in its path to raise up.
How desperate is the need for the government to pitch in at this point?
Very desperate.
Very desperate.
Very desperate. That's for sure. I mean, we cannot run away from some truths, and actually nobody is really hiding away from that. But if the government were to take those initiatives, Chennai has a lot in it, and which I'm sure the whole panel would acknowledge that Chennai has a lot of strength for it to ultimately, quickly again come back to its foots and to start running. So it's not like done and buried or something like that. Obviously, it's just about a year or two where the government and the whole community has to work in tandem to ultimately put it on its fast track.
All right, the government there's a desperate need for the state government of Tamil Nadu to pay closer attention to making Chennai more attractive as a place of business, and of course to encourage that real estate industry and to revive the housing market. Ashwinder, you wanted to add something to our conversation about Chennai. I also want you, while you're giving us advice, to tell us, when you're talking about Hyderabad and Bangalore, what are your top picks in terms of neighborhoods for people who want to buy homes?
Yeah, sure. So on Chennai, I agree with my, colleague in the panel who's just made some comments. I just want to share one of the micro markets which I feel is really going to do extremely well in the next 5 years. It's a new micro market, Poneri, and it's around 38 kilometers from center of Chennai and around 50 kilometers away from the airport, but it is at the industrial hub 35. And I feel, this particular market is going to do well, and it's a good time to invest in this market. Should give you a return of around 18 to 22% in the next 5 years, because there's a lot of industry which is going to come around this place. There are already some major industries which have already put up their plants, including Mitsubishi and all. So I just wanted to add that there is some effort that is being done by the government, and Poneri might be a clincher. Coming to North Bangalore, on Bangalore and Hyderabad, I think Hyderabad, I feel Pappalgura is a good place, and it is close to Gachibowli, closer to the ring road. New IT companies are coming in this place. I feel a great place to invest right now, expecting a return of 20-25% in the next 3 to 5 years. It is also making projects which are both for budget as well as affluent. The other is, to be specific, I want to say, I think Miapur and Nizampet should be a good bet right now for middle income, IT professionals. I think this place is going to give the clients an expected ROI of again 18 to 20%. So to be specific, I think these 2-3 micro markets in Hyderabad are something that people can look at.
On
Bangalore,
just to bring you back to what you said about Poneri. just to bring you back to what you said about Puneri, I mean, there is a lot planned for it. It's going to be a smart city. It's going to have a fair amount of industry. Right now, it's largely farmland. How much supply is in Puneri that people can go out and buy?
So the supply is limited. So for example, I visited Puneri just a month back and I wanted to see why is it that there is so much of talk. So there are some new developers. Some developers from Mumbai have bought land and they are trying to build developments there. There is development that has started, land has been acquired. Some of it is already underway. You know, there is a project which I just saw. You know, it is the rates are around 2,500 odd per square feet with an average budget of 40 lakhs. So I think you know, things have started. You know, there's some action which is already going on now.
Okay, fair enough. That's an interesting bet, Pankaj. If I had 40 lakh rupees, I could buy a 2-bedroom in Electronic City in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Would you recommend I you know, sort of roll the dice on Puneri in Chennai, which is sort of, you know, it's actually in a taluk completely outside the city. It's outskirts.
In fact, like, you know, I've studied Chennai quite a lot from the point of view of the placements of the economic hubs, especially the tertiary industry and the primary industry or the secondary industry positioning. So secondary means like where you have got manufacturing hub, and the tertiary where you have got you know, IT and other service sectors. So if you look at I have seen that 20-22 kilometer is the bracket in which the majority of the demand today is lying. Beyond that, when you go, the demand size really reduces. So I am seeing even like, you know, if you go along the OMR road or whether you go towards the GST road or Oragadam or Sri Perumbudur and all, so there is a huge land parcels available. And it's available across, like, you know, semi-circular manner.
There's that much land available, then there'll always be supply.
And then if you see the closer locations like, you know, Tambaram and some other market, I still see there's a small size developers offering 4 units projects, 5 unit projects, and they are selling, and they are much better location, and they are getting very good quick sales also, and they are contributing. And that's a basic reason when you go slightly farther, then the demand sizes really reduces quite a lot. And you know, lot has happened on the outskirts markets and all those things. You know, there were big promises and all those things, but having said that, when you look back last 5 years or 6 years, I haven't seen they have fared very well.
You know, I have Arun who's called us from Dehradun, who's on the phone line right now to ask us a question. But what I will do is I'll put the phone number at the bottom of your screen, so if you're watching at home and you want to ask us a question about where you should be investing your money or where you should be buying real estate, our focus is the markets in South India. Pick up the phone and get in touch. In the meantime, Arun, what's your question?
Yeah,
Good evening. Arun, you'll have to mute the television in the background if you want to hear us clearly.
Yeah, actually I'm on the television. Give me a second, I'll just put it on mute. Good evening. Very good evening to everyone in the panel.
Go ahead, tell us what your question is, Arun.
Yeah, I'm just, good evening to everyone. Very good evening from Dehradun. Actually, I put the television on mute. My question is actually, this more than 10 years ago, I bought a piece of land when this new airport from Begumpet was shifting to Samshabad in Hyderabad.
Yes.
So near Samshabad is another area within 10 kilometers of distance, and this is in Mehboob Nagar. It is called Kothur, K-O-T-H-U-R Mandal.
Yes.
Right? They have a land with a massive thing. Now I believe the Procter & Gamble is trying to do something there. So I bought a piece of land there. Not too much, about 400 square yards. You know. So I was thinking that if it is possible, if something is happening, then one can build a house. Otherwise, one would like to dispose it of. So I'm seeking an advice as to how should I go about it. Is there any prospect? Is there anything? This is what is my question.
Okay, so I'm going to take this question to Ram Reddy, who actually operates in the Hyderabad market. You know, Ram, you and I will remember that when the Shamshabad airport was coming up, there was so much buzz around that entire stretch of highway that led from the city to the airport, and everybody was buying land on either side of that road. And then, in the irony of that long flyover, which sort of, neglected everything that went under the flyover. So everybody who bought land is now under the flyover and receives none of the advantages of the economics that that airport brings in. So what would you recommend in the Kotur Mandal of Shamshabad Airport? Would you recommend he holds on to that piece of land? Will there be any action there, or is it still too far away from the city to actually see any sort of appreciation?
Well, Kotur is a happening place now, definitely. What he is talking about Kotur. So actually there was a lull for many years. Now the things are happening in Hyderabad. Definitely it's going to be definitely increase the price very shortly, because of the pharma city is also coming up in that area. I mean, not only exactly Kotur, Mahabubnagar and the Rangana districts, Srisailam, with big pharma city is going to come up. So that also will have some impact on this area also. So definitely these are not the right time to sell the property actually. I'll advise him to not to sell the property now. So he has to wait for some more time so that he can get a better price actually. So that
would you recommend he improves on the property in any way by building something on it, or do you think he should just hold it as land?
Yes, he should hold it for some time, because I mean it's not a livable condition right now. Building in our at Kotur, it's a little far from even from the airport also. It comes in the Mahabubnagar district. So of course border of Rangana districts. So immediately constructing a home there is not a advisable this thing. I mean it may take little more time, because Procter & Gamble, as you rightly pointed, Procter & Gamble is coming up a big way, and Amazon also, there's big stores are there. So definitely it's a happening place, so you need not to sell the property now.
Alright, so don't sell the property right now. Don't build anything on the property either. It just makes sense to hold on. Since you've already held on for 10 years, it makes sense to hold on for a little while longer, maybe a year or so, until you can get better returns. Welcome back. You're watching the Urban Debate in Magic Breaks Now. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Fiona D'Souza. We're talking about the South Indian market, and we're talking about each of those three cities, whether it's Hyderabad, Chennai or Bangalore. Is it time to open up your wallets right now and start buying? And if you are buying, what should you be focusing on? Pankaj, I have an interesting question for you. Ashwinਦਰ pointed out in the previous segment, he was talking about the Chennai market, and he talked about the fact that there are developers now from Mumbai, from other parts of the country, who are entering these South Indian markets, picking up tracts of land and starting to build. And here's a question that a lot of investors and a lot of home buyers ask us. So, you know that this is a builder of great reputation from a different city who's now entered the city that I live in. The question is, isn't real estate at the end of the day a very specific to local business? I need to know the local municipal commissioner. I need to know everybody who gives me permissions. I need to actually understand how that city and that market works in order to be able to successfully complete a project. True. So should we go out and buy from these big national brands? Should we look and make sure that they have local partners who are getting everything done for them? Or should we stick to the brands who've been in our cities for 40 years?
I have seen the preferences generally goes to the locals. And even the national guys have gone and built the projects across, I haven't seen they have done a good success stories so far. Only one or two, like Bangalore-based developers have been able to do a successful. But otherwise, frankly speaking, there was a time when the people were buying the land at earlier 2006, 2007, so they purchased the land everywhere but if you look at that, the growth story which happened at that point in time, later on really everyone sold out their land and then went back to their own original
so what you're saying is don't buy from a national developer, buy from a local developer.
I would say that certain corporates who have actually a big setup, organizations and every other thing, you can certainly look at
them. Do you agree?
See, to be honest, I am agnostic to the name. For me, if the developer has credibility, if the developer has done the homework, and if it is a Godrej or a Mahindra or a Tata's or an Oberoi's or a DLF, if they have done the research, they are in the right micro market, they know what kind of units, what size of units they need to make.
How am I supposed to tell that as a regular
Initially, the problem was that the research was poor.
How do I know if the developer has done his research as a home buyer?
Sorry?
But how do I know if the developer has done his research as a home
it's
buyer?
not about the, so that is, no. So what has happened is the developer has suffered whenever they have not done their research properly. So the consumer has choices. It's an open architecture. But saying that a developer of national, repute will not get successful is because of its own doing, not because of the client. So if the client gets the product that the client wants, whether the developer is a regional developer with credibility or a national developer with credibility, both of them will do well. Apparently, the reason national developers have not done well is because of their own flaws, because of their own choices that they have made, because of the product they have come out with, and that is where, as you said, they missed out on the local flavor, and they are learning from their mistakes. They are not missing out from the local flavor. They are hiring right. They are hiring local experts, and once you start doing that, you are part of that ecosystem.
Alright, so if you're looking at any sort of a developer who's not been in your city, there are a couple of things to keep an eye on. Have they managed to finish and deliver projects that they've started in other cities? Do they have someone of local expertise working with them who understands the market very, very carefully? And of course, like Ashwinder says, what has been their track record? Arun Kumar, for anybody buying a home in Chennai right now, what advice would you give them? What is the checklist we have to keep in mind?
I would think, from a builder, selection of a builder or a project, I would think obviously you should look at the repute of the builder, his track record in terms of completion of the projects, and obviously, today what has happened is you get very, very good deals in the market because the market has exhibited that it's kind of a little slower. So ensure they, hunt for the deals. Obviously, they do a lot more research to be sure they're getting a product which is from a builder who's got a repute of completing and doing better projects, etc.
So hunt for deals.
But also is willing.
Hunt for deals, Arun. What is the range that I can go at for over the negotiation table in Chennai? Is it 10%? Is it 15%? More than that?
No, it's many times 10% or something like that is what it is today. And it's not like in all the projects, as I told you even in the last program, it's about if the builder is quoting a lot more realistic pricing, then it can go down to about 3, 4, 5%. If the builder has obviously gone to a little higher price band, actually you can get to about 10 to 12%. So that is very much possible. So you can get that kind of discounts possible in the market. And obviously what's important, as was discussed, is not whether it is today a national builder is not truly having a very clear edge in any city they are operating. That's very evident from the track record of what we've seen of the past of many of the national builders or the bigger builders who moved across cities. What's very important is how do they construct their whole organization. If the organization has a true local flavor in terms of the people, the skills, the understanding of the ecosystem, understanding of possibly the culture, because a home is a very, very socially tied, space. So if they do that bit of research and they understand that, then they are able to crack it. If otherwise they are trying to cut paste their models or trying to template as their cities where they have done very well to another city, they have not done well at all. So I would agree to the panelists that the research would make the difference.
All right, Arun has called us from Chennai. He has a question for us. Arun, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. See, you have row house in Varagadam.
Okay.
In RNX law, so 2 years ago. I just want to know whether it is worthwhile to hold on to this property or is there a low potential in this area?
Varagadam, tell me, I have a couple of questions for you before you answer your question, Arun. Is this a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom? Have you rented it out? Is it generating some sort of income for you?
No, it's a 3-bedroom house.
Okay.
Is there because there are too many houses available, so we don't have any tenant yet for the last 2 years.
You don't have any tenant yet. A 3-bedroom house in Oragadam. He wants to know if you should hold it or actually give it up at this point. Ashwinder, would you recommend he holds on to that home? Oragadam is a good neighborhood. It's been doing well.
Is the gentleman a Chennai resident?
He is calling us from Chennai, yes.
Yeah, so I think this is not a good time to sell because there's a complete mismatch. The prices are bottoming out. He should try and rent out the apartment so that the apartment is well maintained. keep it for the next 2-3 years. The markets should certainly see a different flavor in the next 2-3 years, and then depending on his requirement, he should sell it. So unless and until he needs the money and there is some requirement that he's going to do, yeah.
And one thing I would like to add is Chennai, especially that region, I've seen that it's been giving a good rental yields. Even though there's not much of it's far away and
So
there's
it's
not
fine
much of
to get it. And also for someone like him who comes out, so if Arun comes out to sell his 3-bedroom home in Oragadam, he's competing right now with big builders like Arun Kumar who are able to give massive discounts, which means that he's coming into that market, he's going to have to sell far below his comfort level or his asking price.
Yeah.
I want to ask the same question that I asked Arun. I want to ask this question to Ram Reddy. For someone who's buying a home in Hyderabad right now, what advice would you give them about choosing the developer and choosing the project?
Yeah, Hyderabad, many developers have come up with this thing. The location is very important. They have so many projects are coming up. So they can choose anything. So it's the right time to invest in Hyderabad because the prices are definitely going to go up at least 20% in next 1.5 years. So the choosing of a developer, the national builders also there, many builders have come up, but definitely there will be an edge for the local developers. In local also there are big developers are there. So depends upon the location what they are choosing. So they can invest in whichever way they can do it. So but Hyderabad investment in the right time is a very right time. So they should go for it.
Quick words of advice also from Pankaj and from Ashwinder before we run out of time on the show. Pankaj, you first. What advice would you give someone looking at the South Indian market?
I would still say Hyderabad.
You'd still say Hyderabad. And how should they pick that project?
I would say
the way I'm looking at it, if you will allow me to interrupt you, there's of course Bangalore, Chennai and Hyderabad. Hyderabad is what we look at as the mid-cap segment of the stock market, where it's high return, it's also high risk. So you have to be very careful about, picking that mid-cap stock.
All South Indian market are same. So if you look at this, there was a time when the Bangalore
market. So what's the large cap then, Mumbai?
So large cap is Mumbai and NCR. So if you look at it, but if you look at Bangalore in terms of inventory, it has gone across 1 lakh. So in other sense, it has really grown to that.
Bangalore is a large cap. Property buy at this point. Because but you're not expecting those kind of shoot up returns from Bangalore that we got.
I do not see, because it's peaked up, and Bangalore has a tendency of time correction. So if you look at from 2008 till 2011, second quarter there was no price appreciation. And all of a sudden, when economy was not doing good, the Bangalore prices started surging. And there was a time, there was exuberance, investments were really moving, and dollar was also favoring, rupee dollar arbitrage and all. So NRI demand was available during the time, and that is where it surged. And rest of the country was not doing good. So look at MMR and NCR market was really down. But frankly speaking, if Bangalore has today's peak, if you look at last 2 or 3 years, Habil rate is more or less static.
Okay, I want to quickly ask Ashwinder the same question. If I'm picking a mid-cap in South India and making that investment, betting on the property market, give me one piece of advice. I have about 30 seconds, unfortunately. Give me one piece of advice that you think will hold these buyers in good stead.
Excellent analogy, Faye. I think I'm truly impressed. And I think the sweet spot is ready to move in, and properties which are under construction which the buyer can get in the next 1 year. So very important, your first benchmark of due diligence should be that you should be able to see the property either in structure or ready to move in. I will still hold that Bangalore and Hyderabad both are great. Bangalore is a completely more tilted towards end user market, and Hyderabad is now turning into be a mix of end use as well as investment. So clearly Hyderabad, the mid cap, budget oriented market, IT driven, Bangalore more robust, Bangalore more secular, and it will continue to have its play in the southern sector of India.
All right, I'm running out of time on this show, but I want to give you a recap of what we talked about. Remember, we talked about 3 cities Bangalore, Chennai and Hyderabad, the things to really keep in mind are simply this. You want to focus on a developer of reputation, someone who has a good track record of handing over quality buildings that stand the test of time, that create great communities within those cities, so those people are happy, they enjoy the community that they live in and the people that they live with. You're looking for something that's nearly ready to occupy, if not ready to occupy already, and given the inventory overhang in these cities, there's plenty of that. Hyderabad is the mid-gap, that is high risk, high return. So if you're looking for that sort of thing, then do more homework, but that's a city to bet on. And of course, the key is to look for a home that's close to areas of work. So wherever there's the IT industry coming up in these three cities, you want to be as close to that as possible. We've run out of time. I'm going to put our contact details on your screen. So any question you have about buying a home, we're here to answer those questions for you. Get in touch with us. I want to thank our panel for tonight, and I want to thank you for watching. Good night.